Welcome, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Truth Tellers Mike. And we're going to start on another video. I want to speak about our senses, right? Sensitivity and our perception, and what's beyond the five senses for the chosen and what the chosen carry. Now, most people navigate life through the five gates: sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. But the chosen, they navigate through five gates plus an internal radar system that heaven installs for assignment, for protection and discernment. Now I'm calling it the internal radar system, but that's not a scientific name, right? Now, their perception is, you have the average person, and their perception is not on the same plane as a chosen individual's, because our perception is not limited to what enters the body. It reads what rises inside the spirit. The average person gathers data from the outside and interprets it mentally. But the chosen gather data from the environment and the spiritual atmosphere. So they gather data from the environment like everyone else. And then it's the spiritual atmosphere. What cannot be spoken but is present. What people try to conceal. What an environment intends, and what is moving beneath the surface. This is all part of the spiritual atmosphere. And this is what that radar detects. There are internal spiritual receptors. Now, this is where the separation happens. The chosen don't just sense like humans, they perceive like assignments. Let me go further. The chosen detect. We detect danger before it arrives, motives before words are spoken, hidden hostility wrapped in politeness, spiritual shifts in a room the moment we enter. We are able to detect atmospheric tension, emotional undercurrents in people around them, right? So when there are individuals around us, we can sense what's not being said, right? And we also can detect the presence of deception, the weight of someone's intentions, and where we belong and where we don't belong. Sometimes we can enter a space and realize, I don't belong here. And we also detect who is spiritually safe and who is not. That's part of our radar equipment. That's what it does. That is what it detects. And that is beyond the five senses. And because of that, in a five sense 3D world, they cannot understand the chosen, because most people only validate what can be seen, measured, proven, replicated, and explained. But chosen perception works on revelation, discernment, intuition, guided by spirit now, ancestral backing, energetic truth, and spiritual resonance. When you live in two realms at once, people who live only in one realm mislabel your abilities. So we don't have to get upset when they mislabel us. We have to understand they don't understand. And that's not something that we can even explain and they can comprehend, because they can't experience it. So they'll say to us, when the radar detects something and we respond, you're too sensitive, or you're overreacting, or you're imagining things. But you're not. They're responding through the five senses, while you are responding from spirit level perception. So the chosen carry expanded sensory systems. It's the spiritual radar. This is a non-stop inner alert system that warns you of danger, betrayal, or wrong alignment long before anything happens. You have mothers that have it. And all of them may not be chosen, but that's something that a layperson can understand. When a mother senses something's wrong with her child. What about when you have animals, and animals in the wild as well? They have this sense and instinct about their children. Imagine that in the chosen, but we feel that about everything. See, we also have energetic discernment. And because of that, we can feel when someone's intentions don't match their presentation. We can detect the jealousy, the admiration, the confusion, the hostility, the spiritual assignment. the hidden competition, the unspoken attachments, and the dark agendas that are masked as loyalty, all without a word being exchanged. See, there's an emotional frequency reader in us that we can pick up the emotional temperature of a person or environment instantly. And it's why you know things before they unfold. See, it also, we can sense when something is off, being manipulated, contaminated, spiritually altered, and influenced. Most people only sense tension. You sense the source of the tension. When a person, when a chosen individual walks into a room or enters an environment, walks through a door, their inner senses begin to activate. They can assess the atmosphere, detect pressure points, detect dishonor, read hierarchy, pick up forces at play, scan for spiritual danger, recognize who is uncomfortable with their blessings, and recognize who is protected by the same lineage. No training, no manuals, just instinct born from assignment. And why do we sense more? Because chosen individuals are not walking through life to survive. They are walking through life to fulfill a calling. And our higher assignment requires higher perception, higher sensitivity, higher emotional radar, and higher spiritual detection. You cannot walk into rooms you are not meant to transform with only basic human senses. You need the eyes of the spirit, the ears of discernment, and the sensitivity of one who carries purpose. And there's a burden of perception. And this expanded system is a gift, but it can feel like a burden. The chosen, we often struggle with feeling everything too deeply, sensing danger others ignore, detecting betrayal long before it manifests, reading rooms too quickly, carrying emotional and spiritual information they didn't ask for, navigating people who get uncomfortable under their awareness. This isn't fragility, this is responsibility. Your senses are extended because your role is extended. And why can't you turn it off? The reason why you cannot is because it's not biological, it's spiritual. It's tied to your lineage, your calling, your protection, your destiny, and your assignment. Your expanded senses aren't a gift you can choose to use. They are equipment you were born with for what your life requires. Where the average person sees events, the chosen perceives intentions. Where others see behavior, the chosen senses spirit. Where others rely on their eyes, the chosen rely on divine perception. You don't sense too much. You sense exactly what heaven equipped you to detect and what others don't want you to know. Thank you for visiting my channel. Stay covered, stay conscious, stay undefeated. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.